Thanks for listening to PoliticalStorm.com. It's a big, big week in Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. A lot of delegates going to be up for grabs. And I was watching the news earlier today, and I saw that they were talking about Kasich and Cruz getting a little cozy, snuggling up. So it sounds like Cruz is saying, hey, Kasich, why don't you be my wingman over here and be my VP and bring all 149 of your delegates my way? So I don't think that's quite how it works. Kasich does not have enough delegates, even with what's left. 733, you add that to his 148. There's no path whatsoever that leads him to the presidential seat. So now Cruz is saying, hey, what would you think of maybe being the vice president? And the two of them together would need to pretty much get almost all of the delegates that are left. Not all of them, but they need to get quite a few of them to be able to beat Donald Trump. Otherwise, maybe we get to a point where nobody has the 1237 and it becomes a contested convention. Then at that point, what would happen if Kasich already, pledged his support to Cruz and they said, no, we want Kasich instead? I wonder how that would go. Be pretty darn interesting. Anyway, tomorrow is the big day. On April the 26th, we've got Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island up for grabs. And we're going to see exactly what happens tomorrow on the Republican side. Is Trump going to pull way ahead? Is a little stunt that Cruz pulled today, trying to pull Kasich on his team, is that going to help him? Is that going to hurt him? Because here's the thing you look at. If Kasich was such a great figure and everybody wanted him, wouldn't he have more than 148 delegates? I'm just saying, I don't know how that's going to help or if that's going to hurt. Now we take a look over the Democrat side. They got a big day in Delaware, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maryland, and Pennsylvania as well. And we've got Bernie Sanders right now at 1153 plus his 39 superdelegates. Clinton at 1428 when it looks pledged delegates, and then you add 516 superdelegates in there. They're both still quite a ways away from the 2383 that are needed. Now, of course, Hillary's a lot closer at 1944. But again, the thing that's interesting, when you pull out the superdelegates, these guys are pretty darn close. And that whole superdelegate thing still kind of bothers me. But I guess that's the way that they came up with their plan back in 1984, and they're going to stick with it. So it'll be real cool to see what happens again this week in the states, Delaware, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. All of those states are kind of up in the neighborhood of Vermont, and that's where Bernie Sanders is from. That's his home state. So you get all of those states kind of snuggled right up around him. I understand last week Hillary Clinton won New York, but if you look at the map of New York, Bernie Sanders, the entire map was his color. It was green, except for a couple little blue dots that Clinton won in the big, big cities. So like I said last week, she had some little wins in some big places, but he had some really big wins, like 76%. Big wins in little places. So I kind of think we're going to see more of that as we look at Delaware, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. Time will tell, and we'll have a little wrap-up after the election. If you happen to live in one of those states, your vote matters, so get out and vote. Thank you so much for listening right here to PoliticalStorm.com. I'm John Small.